You know what time it is! You know what time it is! E-S-T-L-E-S-T-L! And you know what underdogs is? It's a hungry dog!
And the second stick away, and the Eagles are alive! Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you! Let the celebration begin!
All right, everyone, and welcome to episode 64 of the Winging It podcast. You probably have a question. The first question on your mind is, do you think the Phillies are going to put it away this week? And I would say, yeah, their odds are pretty good. If you're actually looking at FanDuel, Philadelphia Phillies are the number one most likely team to win the World Series outright. Can't wait for them to take on the Diamondbacks today. The second question you're probably asking yourself is, what do you think the Eagles are going to do? And good thing is we're on episode 64. We're going to talk about it. The third question, the reason everyone listens to this is who's your guest today? And it might help you answer question number 4 of why is your shirt off today? So without further ado, you've definitely seen this guy's content. He is on like every meme page, on Barstool. He's got Phillies players wearing his gear. He's got an awesome podcast. Everyone knows who this is. Give it up for our guest today, Dunphy.
Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you so much for kicking it with us today. It's like every single day I'm seeing something on the news. You were at the Phillies game. You see a guy getting tackled. Well, your wife recorded the video. Then it just went viral. How are you always so relevant, Dunphy?
I'm just lucky, dude. I'm so good looking too, so it really helps like being this good looking. If I wasn't this good looking, I never would be here, honestly. Like how it all started when everyone's like, "Oh my god, look at that stud with his shirt off," and I just so happen to have tattoos, and here we are.
Yeah,
Dunphy, you're so good looking that it was like contagious. We all were just like, if my man's shirt's off, we are joining in on the fun. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I got some new ink myself. It might look like pen, but it's permanent. Permanent. It says Go, just Go on my one shoulder, and then Eagles, ESLGLES, Eagles. However we spell Eagles anymore. So Dunphy, you're making a man out of me, my man.
I like it. You look good, dude. You look good. Look like you've been working out too. I don't know what you used to look like, but I can tell you've been working out.
It's just the lighting. It's making my shoulders really pop right now.
Is that what it is? I need that lighting. Tell me where you got them lights from.
So, my man, I want to learn about just the history, like how Dunphy came to be. I've seen some of your interviews, but talk to us about it. You go into the tattoo shop. Were you reaching so many crowds before then? Was it after the tattoo? Did you know your tattoo artist was going to make an absolute masterpiece and make you one of the most iconic people in Philly sports? Talk us through the history, the origin.
So yeah, it all started with I just wanted to get Philly tattoos all over my stomach and my chest. So I went to my tattoo artist, and his name's Mike Nemo out of 215 Inkwell, and I was like, yo, Mike, I want to get all Philly shit. And he's like, what do you want? So I gave him a list, literally of 15 different things that I wanted on there. And he's like, where do you want the placement to be? I'm like, you're the fucking artist, bro. You handle all that. That's your job. Just pick the placement. 2 weeks later, I come back from my appointment, and he's like, he has a big ass outline. And he's like, are you cool with this? I'm like, he's like, I was thinking the Fanatic over the belly button. And at first, I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, dude, let's do it. Why not? And he's like, honestly, if there's no one else I could have probably did this to. He's like, I knew you were the perfect person for it, and you'd be with it. Because at first I was like, it's a little weird, but then I'm like, let's get it. And I'm like, it could be funny. You know what I mean? I like taking my shirt off and making people laugh. So I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And then the whole first original outline was 6.5 hours, which was without gritty Sixers. A lot of stuff that you see on there now wasn't even on the original outline. I actually have a picture I'll send you guys of the original outline. It's pretty funny. But yeah, it started then, and then I started to get color as the time went on. And then in 2019, I was in Green Bay, and yeah, I was shirtless. Obviously, I was sober as hell. I was so sober. My phone was dead, and all the cameras were just looking at me. So people are texting the people I'm with, yo, Dunphy's on everything right now. He's on Barstool, TMZ, Fox, everything. And I'm just cool, nice, whatever. There's a line at halftime of people wanting to take pictures with me. I'm Packers fans, dude, you're on this, you're on here. I'm like, Cool. And so we're taking pictures. I had to put my shirt on to leave the stadium like before all this happened. I wake up the next morning. I swear to God, I had like 1,100 text messages. Like it went insane. Now everyone's like, dude, you're everywhere. All these media outlets, like the Phillies hit me up. They're like, we want you to come to the game Sunday for Fan Appreciation Day. And I'm like, 'cause it was the end of the season and we sucked. And I'm like, cool. So I was on the back of the quad with the Fanatic that almost fucking tipped over. That's kind of how I started, and I just started putting myself out there, like at tailgates and having people like just take a picture. Like everyone wants pictures, so I'm like, just tag me. Like that's all I can ask. Like I don't turn nobody down. Sometimes I wish I would. I think I'm too like friendly sometimes because like I'm trying to enjoy the game and people are wanting pictures, and I'm a fan too at the same time. You know what I mean? But no, it's cool. I love it, dude. I really do, and I just take advantage of the opportunity I've been handed, and it's great. I love it.
Dumpy, talk to us about your latest tattoo, because I heard some stuff on social media. I want to know the story of what happened, how you sort of ran into this guy, and what made you decide to go get that tattoo.
All right, so it's the Dawkins tattoo for whoever
Heck yeah.
is curious. I got Dawkins to sign it. So my buddy Kev Nichols, who has a podcast called The Loft, hit me up, and it was his 100th episode, and he has a connection with somebody that set it up, and they are releasing a Dawkins like card, some kind of card, and they came on the podcast to talk about it. So he was fortunate enough to do it there, or to have him on the podcast. They set it up at Xfinity Live in like a closed room area. And he invited me to come out and just sit through the podcast, and it was pretty dope. And then afterwards, like we were able to talk to him, meet him, and stuff like that. And Kev right away was like, "Yo, are you able to sign his chest?" He's like, "Well, where's my number?" And I'm like, "It's like kind of right by my nipple, but you don't got to touch my nipple." So yeah, Dawkins was the man, dude. He was literally the coolest, calmest person. I was so shocked. I mean, obviously in interviews you see he's like not the same person he was in the field and how he could just switch it on and off. But
Yeah.
he was awesome, dude. He really was, and he was cool about signing my tit.
Yeah.
And then what did you do? Did you just like run over to like the closest tattoo shop? Was this something preemptive? Did you already have it planned ahead of time?
So the week before or something, my buddy Kev had it lined up for a little bit. We're waiting on a date, and I was like, "Yo, do you think he would sign my chest?" And he's like, "Yeah, like we'll talk to him about it." So I had my tattoo artist up the week prior. I'm like, "Yo, would you come down?" I'm like, "You know what? Matter of fact, I'll just get him to sign it in marker, and I'll just come to the shop. So leave me like 15, 20-minute gap." And he's like, "Dude, I got you." Like we were trying to make a video out of it. I'm terrible at making videos, even if it's just a regular video. So the video got kind of messed up. I wanted to make a pretty dope video, but it didn't happen because I suck with social media, as you can tell.
Yeah, we had some problems getting the AirPods hooked up to the computer. Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, it's so cool to see just like how like iconic like your chess piece is, like so much so that Bryson Stott is out taking BP in a Dumpy215.com t-shirt. So I have it right here. You got to get it amended with the Brian Dawkins tattoo on it though. So maybe release a V2. Awesome shirt. As soon as I saw it dropped, I'm like, this is something I have to get. If you are any sort of Philly fan at all, like this is something you have to have in your wardrobe. It's an extra heavy tee. It feels good. It doesn't feel cheap like some of the other t-shirt printers. Like, have you been encouraged to do this? Have people asked for your designs on a t-shirt? And second to that, a lot of counterfeits out there, man. People saw that Bryson Stott thing, and there were so many like fake websites saying, "Oh yeah, buy that right here." It's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people have been asking me about the shirt. So I originally did one when I first went viral, but I did it from a printer locally. So I would order a bunch out of pocket and then hustle them myself. So I was doing events, so I was selling them. I did pretty good. I don't know exactly how many I sold, but I did pretty good. And then I kept saying 2.0 was coming, like updated, because the first shirt doesn't have like gritty, doesn't have a lot of things, Sixers, which I can show you guys as well.
If you want me to sign Brian Dawkins' signature on it, I'm getting a lot of experience signing things onto my own body, so I can. Hey, Dumpy, I can sign you if you want. If you know,
if you could sign Iverson for me, that'd be great. We'll make a video pretending you're Iverson.
That would be an honor, and might not go over well, but
yeah, that's how you get canceled.
Practice? There, I think I got it down.
But yeah, so that was the first shirt, and a bunch of people been pushing me, and then COVID came in. COVID like put a setback on a lot of things, like for me, because I was still new to everything. I had like a baseball podcast about to start that week, and at a live at Parks, and we're gonna do it live there, and it kind of just fell through. I never even did the podcast, but yeah, that's kind of why I stopped doing that for a while, and then I was in talks with other people about doing collab shirts, and I'm like, I just kept pushing off. I had a full time job, but I finally got a couple of deals to where I finally left that, and I'm starting to do this now full time. So
That's sick.
you're gonna see me a lot more than you did before. I was kind of like just there, but now I'm like really trying to push this stuff and do it full time. So, um, yeah,
That's the dream, man. It's the dream. And
yeah,
I think we've all learned, firsthand how much dedication it takes, how much time it takes to put into these little side projects with the ultimate goal of making it your life, because this is,
yeah.
it's a passion. And, I'm scrolling through your website right now. I see the Attaboy Harper shirt and Birds by a Lot. Like, this stuff is excellent. I also see here a link for your podcast, the Pulp Fiction podcast, which you host with Malik Joe. I see you guys have Freddie Mitchell on there. Just how long have you been doing that for? Just give us a rundown of what that podcast is all about and some of the guests that you've had on.
So, over time, I've been fortunate enough to meet a bunch of people with my through my tattoos. I met Malik about a year ago. I followed him on social media. I'm not sure if he followed me or not, but he's like a comedian, but he's hilarious. And just when I met him, dude, he's one of the best people like I've ever met. Honestly, he's a great person. He really truly is, and like his work effort for this like stuff is there's no one that puts in more work than him, and he's always literally thinking like when we get like an opportunity for a deal, like I can talk to them more than like he can. Like he's just so like he's so creative. Like he'll have like 10 ideas. I'm thinking how like we can get compensated off of this. And he's thinking about, yo, we can do these videos and these can go viral. I'm like, how the hell are you thinking about this right now? Like, I'm just seeing money right now. Like, I'm trying to see opportunities. And he's like, you can handle that. He's like, I trust you. And I trust him, dude. And he's helping me with my content. And like, he's just, I mean, I do think of some things on my own, but dude, he's next level. He really is. He's so smart. So we just clicked kind of right away when we first met. And then we did something. I was hosting a Super Bowl party in Port Richmond at the Malt House. And I hit up Malik. I was like, yo, they're paying me. I'll throw some money your way. You come on out. Just host it with me. And dude, we clicked. We had so much fun. Like we were vibing and we were talking like, yo, we got to do a podcast together. And it was talking for a while. And he finally hit me up. He was like, yo, are we doing this or not? Like in July. And that just kind of like lit a fire under my ass. And that's when I was leaving what I was doing. And I got a couple people, like a guy that's kind of like my manager, and then a videographer that I knew. And I was like, yo, let's just go all out and like start a YouTube channel, podcast. Like, let's do it. And they were all on board. And we set it up from like the end of July. Our first podcast probably launched like either late August or early September. Like we did it so fast. Like we were all on board. We had a few meetings with each other. And like, just like I said, based off the people I know and Malik know, we were fortunate enough to get some good guests. Like we got, like you said, Freddie Mitchell, Ed Bassmaster, who is absolutely amazing. Dude's out of his mind funny, like nonstop. Yeah. He's always in like 7 different character. Like he's literally always in those characters. You're trying to talk to him and he's like messing with you. You don't even know it. Like I'm like, can we talk for a second? Like, but that's the best thing about him. Like, and we try to get him to have try to do a sign off for our podcast. Like, hey, I'm Ed Bassmaster. Welcome to Pulp Fiction Podcast. So Malik said, like, he's like, what? Ed's like, what do you want me to say? So Malik said it, and he's like, he just walked off. He's like, you said it for me. I don't need to say nothing. It was hilarious though, and he was interacting with like people walking by where we were filming. It was awesome.
So if you had a dream podcast guest or someone that you've been tracking down, trying to get the attention of, I'm sure there's like a whole like a logistics thing. You have a team that's helping you with some of the outreach, or maybe not. But who is like the number one person that you would just absolutely drool to get onto the podcast?
We talked about this because we kind of set high goals for ourselves to see, like, so if we did get the person we wanted, like, it's tough. Mine's down to a few people just because of their platform, and I feel like how it could elevate us. I picked Drake, but based off a person I would love to like talk to, like, and just ask them a bunch of questions would maybe be Joe Rogan. And I'm really not even like a deep into like podcast type of person, but I just think Joe Rogan's like the smartest person like in the world, dude.
Yeah,
like, he really is. He's so like intelligent. I would love to talk to Joe Rogan. Or honestly, they're completely different people. But I would love to have a podcast with like Lil Wayne. I
Yeah.
think Lil Wayne would be insane.
Oh man, I think Lil Wayne would actually probably do something like that. He would love it.
If you can
I'll let you
get
go.
both of them on at the same time, or all three of them on at the same
right.
time, that would be a
That
listen.
would be nuts. That would be insane. But then there's sports that like there's so many people I would really honestly love to have like obviously Iverson. Like you know what I mean? Like he like
That's
that would
that's
be
the number
just-
one right there. I agree.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, so Dunphy, I love hearing about all of these people that you've sort of interacted with, and it sounds like, I mean, you're a building relationships kind of guy. I'd love to hear about how you connected, got in touch, how you met Birdman. We had him on the podcast, I don't know, about a month ago, and honestly, I think I speak for all of us where when I say that his story really touched us. Yeah, how did you meet him? How did you become friends with him? And do you have any updates for us? And do you have any pull with Lincoln Financial Field to get him back in?
so I don't really have any pull with Lincoln Financial Field. I've actually never even talked to anybody from like the front office about doing anything with them.
Wow.
So I have no pull with them. Joey's like one of my best friends. I knew Joey before Birdman was even a thing. I knew Joey before I even had tattoos. So me and Joey
Just
knew
a
each
blank
other for a
canvas.
while.
Just a
The
blank
blank-
canvas.
A blank,
I
beautiful
knew
canvas,
like,
A
me and
featherless bird and black canvas.
a belly button untouched.
Joey. Yeah, Joey's from the next neighborhood over from me, so we always knew each other, but we got really close probably around like maybe 2018, 19, 2007, somewhere around there. We got really close, and yeah, Joey's like one of my good friends. Update, he went to the game this past week. He went to Washington game, full Birdman costume.
Fox Sports shared a picture of him.
Yeah,
It's like
I told him
you can't escape it. Yeah,
Is he free?
I-
Has the ban been lifted?
I don't
no,
think so.
he's I think he wants to fight it. So that's his choice. I think if he does fight it, it's going to take a while. You're messing with billionaires here, and it's just going to be hard. You know what I mean? I think it's going to go on for a few years. I think it might have just been worth it to accept the loss, pay it, and you can go back in like a week or so. But he wants to fight it, and I mean they were definitely at the wrong if you watch the video and all. And I'm happy he finally went back and did it because it's an outlet for him, for like his mental illness and all. But no, I think as long as he goes to the game and just stays cool, I think he'll be all right. I don't think they'll like, yo, you were here, you got kicked out, let's go with us. But that's a risk he's got to take because I think he said if he does, he could get locked up or something. I mean, I'm sure he'll probably only sit in a cell for a couple of days, but no one wants to do that.
Just
Or a
sitting
couple
there.
hours.
He's
Couple
still
hours,
keeping
I
his
meant.
entire.
Yeah.
He's like refuses to take the Birdman costume off. He takes
Well-
a mug shot in the bird mask.
Another thing I suggested, I'm like, dude, why don't you just get a new costume? You can go as like somebody else, like a different Birdman. Like they're not gonna know. You know what I mean? Just don't act up. I feel like that's his best bet is don't act up, and he'll be okay.
I feel like that's like a really easy workaround. I feel like we can make that happen. Now, I know that you host some tailgates at the stadium, the Club 215. Is Birdman a part of that? Will tell me a little bit about just what this tailgate looks like, how many people usually come out for it, and I imagine you guys do this every game that's at the link.
Yeah, he's not like ownership or nothing with the tailgate, but he's definitely a part of it. He comes out and people love to interact with him, and he interviews people with his thing he's got going on. I think it's called like squat something. I can't think of the name of it right now. But he does like some interview thing, man on the street content. That's doing pretty good. So he comes out for that. But no, he comes out and we get tuned up, dude. We love drinking and we love showing out for the bird. So that tailgate was wild. So it didn't help him either. He was we were all messed up. Me and Malik were like 2 sections over from him. And we just see him like arguing. And Malik's trying to calm him down. I'm like, bro, he can't hear you, bro. Like just chalk it, dude. And Joey's the type of person when he's like when he's like that, he's like, dude, there's no calming him down. But no, either way, no matter what happened, the security guards were 100% at fault when they ringed him up like that. So hopefully after he fights it, they make things right. Put my man
Right
in the
on.
front row for the rest of his life.
He has to be. He's an icon. As far as I'm
Seriously,
concerned,
yes.
he's an icon.
He gets more TV time than me.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of TV time, like Alex alluded to before, seen a whole lot of you lately. Seeing you with Bryson Stott, probably had to teach him how to say the word hoagie. I don't know if that's in the vernacular outside of Philadelphia, but watching him try to act, with you being a natural talking about hoagies at Primo's, and then obviously your Parks partnership too. I'm huge into the sports betting. I'll open up my app and then boom, there's Dunphy. So just would love to know how you got partnered up. I mean, again, I'm sure it's the tattoos that drew these people to you, but would just love to know how these things came to be, because it's awesome.
Can you say it one more time? I'm sorry. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, just
what partnership?
We got. Are you still partnering with Parks?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was being newsy. You guys have comments on the side. I was reading them real quick. So I was being newsy, so I got kind of distracted.
No, all good. Yeah, just your Primo's partnership. I see, seeing you with Bryson Stott on the commercials, and then and Parks. So I just want to know how you started to get involved with both of those.
So back in 2019, it was like a couple months in, like I was putting myself out there, and Parks reached out, and that was the first person they reached out to. They didn't really have like a social media team or nothing, and they were like, "Yo, you want to come out and like do content?" Like, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm not really like, what do you want me to do? And they're like, "Come out and just like do hype videos," and I'm like, "Sure." Like, I'm already out there at the tailgate anyways. Like, we'll pay you, and I'm like, I'm listening. They're like, coming out for a meeting. I'm like, all right, I'll come out for the meeting. So we were there, and they start throwing numbers at me, and they're like, this is what we'll pay you to do this and do that. And I'm like, sounds good to me. I'm in. So we would go down there, me and a videographer who's actually now like the lead manager of the social media team, Matt Alba at Parks. And we were going down there, and we clicked right away. We were having such a great time, and we were making like hype videos. Now, if you look at our stuff, we're so much more advanced than what we were doing. And the content's just so much better. Like, we've learned so much just in a few years of working together. We'd probably be even more advanced, like I said, if it wasn't for COVID, but we're still going through it. We're fighting. So it's going good so far. I think Parks is happy. I'm happy. So
beautiful.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And just like scale from 1 to 10, how bad were you like fangirling over Bryson Stott right there and like having the opportunity to like, do a commercial with him? Like, that must have been unreal.
So Primo's reached out to me. Actually, it wasn't Primo's. It was somebody I know from Victus Bats who Stotts does stuff with. And they were like, I think Primo's is going to be reaching out to you. Would you be interested in doing a commercial? And I'm like, yeah, because it's funny because I was actually in talks of partnering up with Primo's. So I actually went through somebody else, not Primo's, for that deal. And they were like, yo, you want to come out and be in a commercial with Stott? And I'm like, yeah, like I don't even care what you're paying me. I want to do it. Yeah. So I didn't think our video, because we did this back in, I want to say like May. So I didn't think our video was good enough because he's posted videos. Other influencers I've seen there, like Sayburn, they posted videos. And I'm like, look, it is what it is. I guess my video wasn't good enough. So he posted my shirt, and I think that might have been like a reason on why they did it. And they were like, yo, this is a perfect time. It's playoffs. And the video is doing great. I think it's over like 300,000 views, so it's doing pretty good. And he's not even on that. It's just me and Primo's. And it's doing pretty good. So I was excited. But no, I was definitely fangirling. Dude, it's crazy to say this. I'm not coming at him. He's just not like he's a shy person, I guess you can say. Mm-hmm. He was more nervous than I think me, honestly. Like, he was just like, what's up, everyone? And like every time we had a line, like we kept messing our lines up. We were laughing with each other. And then there was a time they're like, yo, we're just going to get B-roll. Just stare at each other for 10 seconds. And I'm like, so I just started asking them questions. I'm like, can I talk to him? Like, do I got to just stare into his eyes? They're like, you can talk. And I'm like, all right. So I asked him, I was like, yo, what's the loudest stadium besides Citizens Bank Park? And he said San Diego. And I was like, well, what's like your favorite stadium like that you've been to? Like, he also said San Diego. So those were the two questions I got from him that now you guys know.
Yeah. That's funny. He's sitting here stumbling over his lines like that video, baked in a buttery, flaky crust. That whole guy that keeps messing it up.
That'd be hilarious if you told each other, or they told you to look into each other's eyes, but he just kept looking at your chest, and you're just like, eyes are up here, buddy. Eyes are up here.
I know you like this, but
Dunphy, and just, man, it's not only like that you have a lot of stuff you're working with. Everyone that we've talked to about you, we've wanted you to come on for a little bit, and we've kind of asked like, what's the best way? we just reached out and he said, yeah, man, like I would love to do it. You're a humble guy. You're a good guy. You have deep relationships. A lot of people really respect you. I really can't think of a better person to put on billboards, to put on blast for the sports team. So thanks for everything you do for the city. Thanks for everything you do for the fans. You're an awesome dude, genuine guy. So thank you so much for letting us grill you with the few questions and getting in your mind. Besides this being a big week for the Phillies, the Eagles have a ton of stuff happening this week. So we have our first Kelly Green game in who knows how many years. It's pretty iconic just to see, Randall Cunningham into Kelly Green before, and now we got Jalen Hurts, another iconic black quarterback coming out. It's like almost like poetic in a sense. So like I'm just so excited to see the storylines. But a bigger storyline is Tua, Jalen, conference championship, all of the storylines. What's your honest outlook on the game? Like if you just had like a few blurbs and then hit us with the score prediction, Dumpy.
So I will admit I was nervous coming into this game all season long, just the way Miami's been playing and the way our secondary's been looking with their offense. And our offense hasn't looked amazing. I mean, you know what I mean? I think everyone can admit that. But I think with a loss coming home, Kelly Green, there's going to be a lot of energy just around the night in general. It's a primetime game. This is personal for Hurts as much as it's personal for Tua, but he got benched for him in a championship game. So I think that's really like, and the type of person Hurts is, I think his mind might have not been like they say, like this is a big game for him. So that might have been the reason why he also played a little slow last week. Not giving him any breaks here. He played like shit in the second half. No, I think the Eagles are going to win. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game like everyone else in the world thinks. I think it's going to be something like, I'll say 30-24 in overtime, Birds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm going to say in overtime.
Ali, I know you're a big numbers guy. You hit us with some good numbers last week. I'm curious to get your input and how you're feeling about this Sunday night game.
I'm not feeling too confident about the Sunday night game. So a stat that I've come to really appreciate this year is a quarterback time to throw and the pressure to sack rate, combination of those two. So Tua Tagovailoa has actually one of the lowest time to throw statistics out of all starting NFL quarterbacks. The only two quarterbacks that beat him are Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence, and they're beating him by 0.1 seconds. Now, pressure to sack rate is also an interesting statistic because it's like how many times these guys are getting pressured and how many of those pressures are resulting in sacks. Now, normally when you have a low time to throw, your air yards, your yak yards, all those things are generally relatively low. It's all dink and dunk plays. But what I sort of appreciate about this Miami Dolphins offense is Mike McDaniels has been able to find speedy wideouts that are able to get farther than any other wide receivers out there, faster than any other wide receivers out there. So Tua is spending less time in the pocket, throwing farther than everyone else, right? So this offense is a juggernaut just based on its speed alone. Am I worried about the run game? No, I think we're going to wrap that up pretty good. But do I think our pressure, our rush is going to get to Tua? I'd be very surprised if we get anything over 2 sacks this game, just because of how this offense operates. On the defensive side, on our defensive side, I'm a little worried about how our cornerbacks are going to be able to match up against that speed. And frankly, I just saw the injury report. We've got Reed Blankenship who's out. We've got Devontae Smith was listed as a hamstring injury. So we're dealing with some injuries, some things that frankly we hadn't had to deal with all last season, and it may have played a big part into why we went so far where we did. So net, I don't necessarily like this game. I think this is going to be the first time in a while where we see back-to-back losses. I'm predicting Miami Dolphins 34, Eagles 28. And it's, again, I'm looking at the way these statistics are sort of showing up. And frankly, I'm kind of doing this in a superstitious way because a couple of weeks ago, I predicted an Eagles loss and it ended up being the best game we played. So I'm kind of hoping that me predicting an Eagles loss again is going to, no, I predicted LA was going to be a loss.
Yeah, so this is a great way to get guests to join us back, Ali. Just we bring iconic sports people here, so you're gonna fire up the fan base.
Hey,
we're gonna take an L. So yeah, good job on that one, Ali. Wonderful analysis.
The thing I love about our fan base is we tell it like it is, man. We tell it like it is, and I don't
I
like
admire I
Yeah.
admire your honesty, and also when you were talking about some of those pressure rates, I think I could physically see Dunphy's brain start to break a little bit. So I think you brought some good numbers with you. Alex, hit us with your prediction and how you're feeling about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think I take Dunphy's side on a lot of this. The sports book have the Eagles as a 2.5 point favorite. Home team is usually getting 3, so they're actually giving half a point to the Dolphins if this was middle ground
Neutral.
and what that looks like, and 52 total points. So I think your analysis is pretty spot on. I mean, Ali, you're talking about, you're wondering about how our cornerbacks are going to be able to cover Tyreek Hill. We can't cover Tyreek Hill. No team in the NFL can cover Tyreek Hill. So it's not necessarily will we be able to cover him? No, you can't lock down him. It's how do you manage and how does that go into the gameplay, because he is going to get his. There are some things though that are interesting though. So I forget this dude's name, but their running back, who's like the fastest guy in the NFL now, he's out.
HN?
So run game is going to be fine when you have a one-dimensional team that's only going to be passing most of the time, because we got Jalen Carter back. We're going to have Darius Slay back. Lane Johnson's going to be coming back. Like you have some of those like puzzle pieces that are going to be back in the lineup. We already know before the game has even started that the Dolphins are going to be passing the ball. So it's going to be up to Sean Desai to be able to make adjustments and say, hey, Tyreek's going to get his. How do we limit it? And I do think we have a chance. I also think Jalen Hurts is really good when it comes to adversity. I hate that he constantly talks in these Instagram captions all the time. He's just like, well, this helps us define character. These moments define us.
Now keep climbing, man. Sky's the limit.
I've tried not to ever be too high or low. That we're not just hungry for it, but we're starving for it. The Rennans do every day. Keep the main thing the main thing. No man is an island. You got to draw your strength from others. You know that's a day-by-day thing. And enough is never enough. I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion.
It's like, bro, just I get it. I get what you're doing. I feel like Dunphy, he would be a really hard person to do a Primos commercial with, because he would just drop like 2 or 3 one-liners, and that's like the entire extent of the conversation.
I definitely feel you with that. Everything's like a motivational like quote. It's like, all right, dude.
I was born before I had a purpose or a purpose. I don't know, bro. Just what are we doing next week against the Dolphins, homie? That's all I care about. So with that being said, I think it's going to be an absolute shootout. If you're watching at home, it's going to be so many storylines, so many flashbacks to college and the storylines that happened there. Dunphy, I'm going to come by 215. Definitely want to meet with you in person and talk about them. We'll be at the stadium together. As far as score predictions go, I think it's going to be Miami 31, Philly 34. Overtime, Jake Elliott shows us again why he's the best kicker in the NFL. Go ahead, Andrew.
Wow.
Both
Two of you
both
picking
got
overtime.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, my Lord. So, Ali, to your point about sacks, I am seeing here that the Dolphins are first in sacks allowed, meaning that they are the best team in not allowing sacks. They only allow 1 sack per game. And that's been something that the Eagles have been kind of getting better at the past couple of weeks. We've really seen Hassan Reddick start to come on. He's had, he had 1 sack, then 2 sacks, then 2.5 sacks. So he's really building up steam. But, some of these numbers are just really frightening. The Dolphins they're first in passing yards per game. They're first in rushing yards per game. The rush yards per game don't worry me, because we are the second best team against the run. But, when they're throwing for almost 317 a game and we're the 20th ranked pass defense, there is reason for concern. Now, football is a funny game. Things don't always make a ton of sense. And, honestly, it didn't really make much sense for the Eagles to lose to the Jets last week, but it happened. And I'm still sticking by just the reason we are going to win this game is because we lost last week. I don't know why, but that's just how it's going to turn out. I'm going to go. The over-under is 52, so there should be a lot of points being scored. The Eagles didn't put up any points in the second half last week, so I'm really expecting some major improvements. Devontae Smith injury is a little worrisome, but hopefully he'll be good to go. I actually want to get your thoughts on Julio Jones after I give my score prediction here. But I'm going to go Eagles. Man, God, this is hard. I'm going to go 30-27 Eagles. I think it's going to be a 3-point win. I won't go overtime, but a late field goal to seal the deal. I think the Eagles are just barely going to sneak by. And guys, Dunphy, I'll start with you, man. Like Julio Jones, here he is. Like he's got this He's a Hall
Hall
of
of
Fame
Famer.
wide receiver, and now he's joining the Birds. What are your expectations, and what do you think the signing was all about?
If you would have told me 10 years ago we get Julio Jones, and I'm looking at my phone and I go nuts when I see because I get everyone's alerts. Like when we signed Hassan Reddick, I had to pull over. I made a video. I was so hyped, bro. When we signed Julio Jones, I just screenshot it, sent it to my group. I really didn't care. I don't that he talked good in the conversation, saying he's coming here to dominate. I'm not buying into it. I think he's going to be a solid. Yeah, I'm not buying into it. I think he's going to come here and be a solid slot guy. He'll get his here and there. I think he joined a contender, somebody that's going to compete. He came to the right spot. He's trying to get a ring. I don't have too many high expectations. He's better than Quez, who stinks. So,
Amen.
I hate Quez so much. I always have. I hope he's not on the team anymore next year. But yeah, I think when you have someone not doing absolutely anything in the slot and you add a Hall of Famer, he's going to add some value. So I get the signing. So I would have liked McCole Hardman, preferably more. Even though he doesn't run for fucking first downs. But yeah, I would have liked him.
Yeah, I think my thoughts on Julio, kind of like you, I was like, it reminds me of that Pawn Stars meme where it's like, hey, we need help in the secondary and we need to address our hurting defense. And he goes, best I can do is Julio Jones. Like, yeah, it's fine. Does it make us better? Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Howie's not done.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, hopefully, man. I mean, he seems to have this pattern because he did it last year when we lost our first game against the Commanders. And then, oh God, Robert Quinn. What the heck was that about? What a flop.
Hopefully Julio is more Ndamukong Suh and less Robert Quinn.
Yeah, but yeah, like we got
Joseph.
we got Linval and Ndamukong and had one of the best rush defenses in the league. So whatever, it's fine. It's better than Quez. He can't do anything. We also have a big problem with our red zone offense. We are just having such a tough time converting.
Which
having
can be good.
Yeah, right. Like you don't see. I guess you do see Tyreek Hill, shorter guy, doing that. He's an anomaly, but we do need a taller guy in that slot position. Veteran, knows what to do in certain situations. When we had Jason Avant on, like they script chaos. So like Julio's going to know where to go, where I think that someone like Zacchaeus or Quez may not have the situational IQ to be able to dominate in those situations.
Eagles are big on like screens as well too. I'm sure Julio, he's been around for like 14 years or whatever the hell it is. I'm sure he can block better than these guys too. Like you said, Zacchaeus and Quez, they're both smaller guys. I'm sure they're not really putting in too many big blocks. So
Eagles
Quez.
Eagles historically were good at screens. I don't know. Every time we get in the red zone, I feel like it's a pitch out to Kenny Gainwell or like a quarterback
tush push.
draw. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't get it. I don't.
The OC is definitely frustrating. I was giving him a little bit of benefit of the doubt, maybe trying to learn a team. Week 1, it was pouring. But after last week, he wasn't the main reason we lost. 4 turnovers is definitely the reason we lost.
Yep.
But he's looked very suspect. Very suspect, the OC.
Well,
Especially
1/3 of the way,
red zone, like you said.
Yeah, 1/3 of the way through the season. Hopefully, in the next 2/3 of the season, these coordinators can start to clean things up a little bit, and we can see Jalen make another push for MVP. So, what do you say,
I'm a fan
Alex?
of what's the Desai. I like Desai. I think he's getting better each week. So I'm excited to see what he draws up this week. I mean, I know you guys brought up a bunch of numbers. I don't always look too crazy into numbers because, especially week 6, because
sample size is small.
Us. Those teams aren't us.
You're right.
And they don't perform the same as we do. We play to our talents or to our opponents' like talent. Like we played down on the Jets. If that was the Patriots from like 5 years ago, we play way better than that. Or the Chiefs, we play up to their standards. You know what I mean? So I think we'll play to the Dolphins' standards, and I think we're going to be able to move the ball because their defense. I can't even name besides Ramsey too many people on their defense. No, I think we're going to be able to move the ball efficiently, and like you said, Tyreek Hill is going to get his regardless, no matter who he plays. It's just like you said, maintaining them and shutting everything else down. And I don't think we'll have too much of a struggle with a lot of other people. Sure, you got Mostert, who's pretty good, but I'm confident in our run game.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes the numbers can be a lot. You have so much data to look at and get into like analysis paralysis where it's just, you can make up any story you want. But
and you said you'd be shocked. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, you're good, man.
Talk all day.
No, I'm here for it.
You said you'd be shocked if they got more than 2 sacks. Really?
Yes.
Well, how quick? I mean, to be fair, Tua gets the ball out so quick because his receivers are already 15 yards down the field as soon as the ball touches his hand. So he's getting it out so quick.
And they don't want him to get hit because of the concussion past. So obviously they're like, Tua, don't hold on to the ball. Whatever you do.
If he does get hit, he's taking jiu-jitsu lessons and he's going to start.
How many times he's been sacked this year? Does it say?
They're only averaging 1 sack per game on Tua. So they're the top team in defending sacks.
Because that pressure up the middle is going to be there this week. Jalen Carter. He's back, right?
And they need it.
They do need it.
0-1 without Jalen Carter.
And Lane. Dude, Lane, and I'll say this, and I'll stand on this. You can clip this. I don't care. I say this. Lane Johnson is the best player in football. In football.
I don't think I disagree
at
with
his
you whatsoever.
Position. He's the best player in football. What was the thing I seen? He hasn't even allowed a hurry, like not even a sack, a quarterback hurry in like so long, like 2 years or something.
Drew read a stat off last week, and it's like we win twice as many games when Lane's in there versus not. Like we have a losing record when Lane Johnson is out. When Lane is in, we get 2 wins to every loss. Yeah, and it's like it's some ridiculous stat. That's the first thing that I said in this week's episode was how much of a problem it's going to be when he's off the team. I don't disagree with you.
So we scored our second touchdown in the second quarter with 5 minutes left. So that means we didn't score again for the remaining 35 minutes without him. I don't know. Dude's a freak, man. He's special.
X factor.
When did he get hurt? He got hurt. He got hurt early, actually, right? First quarter. Yeah, he's.
I think it was after the second touchdown. Yeah.
Oh, was it after the second? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just shows you. Hurts went 7 for 20, I think, in the second half. So that's just confidence right there too. Not having you're getting pressure to where you're usually I don't got to worry about this side. I can do whatever I want. Now you're thinking. You know what I mean? So just having him, I think, is so key. So.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Get healthy.
All right, Andrew. Let's get into our final segment and then send us home.
Swinging it. Underdog picks for the week.
All right, we're back. Another edition of Swinging It. Swinging for the fences here. Once again, Dunphy's going to join us representing the audience. Quick recap of how this game works. You pick an underdog. If your underdog pick wins, you get the number of points that team is receiving in the spread. So we can always use Ali as a good example because he really swings for it. And gosh darn, we need to start actually putting some money down on this. Ali, you were awarded 10. You took the Cleveland Browns last week. You didn't even know that Deshaun Watson was out. And you still were like, whatever. They're going to beat the 49ers. Sure enough, they did. You get 10 points for that mega win. So now your season total's at PJ Walker, baby. T for
you know the crazy thing? If Deshaun was in, they would have put him away convincingly. He just had such a tough time getting it going. But, man, it shows you how bad the Niners are when you don't have the best running back in the league. Makes you think, huh?
Injuries make a difference. So, Ali, your season total has now gone from 15 to 25, so you're well in front. Aleks, unfortunately, suffered a loss last week, so you stay at 14. The audience, E-Rock took Washington to beat the Falcons, so 2.5 points awarded to the audience. They're at 11, so coming up on Aleks. And then I took the Buccaneers, who were the lowest scoring team of the week. Therefore, luckily, I just get 0. I don't get negative. I'm at 2 points on the year, so I'm slowly giving up on life. Dunphy, we're going to start with you, man. You got a whole slate of games to choose from. Who is your underdog pick of the week?
My underdog pick of the week, I'm going to go with, like E-Rock, I'm going with a division rival. I'm going to go with the Giants to get their second win of the year. Spreads 3.
So Giants at home against the Commanders, getting 3 at home. All right. Is
Daniel
Jones going to be back?
Jones?
I have no idea.
Tyrod Taylor was looking.
I don't know.
Yeah, Tyrod
Taylor was dropping dimes on the Bills.
Tyrod's he's not big. He's never really turned the ball over. He's good at just keeping the possession, and that's how you win football games.
Yo,
So.
Tyrod is
manager.
probably the most unfortunate person in the history of the world. Like, he's been given so many opportunities to watch his job be lost to Baker Mayfield, punctured a lung, so Justin Herbert started. You know what I mean? I'm pulling for a Tyrod, man. I hope he has his like second career rejuvenation like Nick Foles did and come back and does something good for a franchise. Just doesn't beat us in the Super Bowl. God forbid that happens. But yeah, I like that pick, Dumphy.
I guess I need to try to find a winner here, and I need points, man. I can't be settling for these like 2 or 3 points because I'm running out of time, and it's not good. So we got the Patriots who are getting 9 at home against the Bills. That is a division game. The Bills are coming off a rough game against the Giants, so I feel like they're probably going to turn things around and not play as poorly as they did against the Giants. But in New England sucks, but I got to do what I got to do. I'm taking the Patriots plus 9. Screw it.
You know what,
Aleks.
man? The Bills have some lackluster performances. I am not afraid of that game when we play them. I'm going to keep it quick. These games are always biting fingernails really quick. I think the offense of this team is totally underrated. And every single time these two teams, these division teams fight, it's like always down to a last-minute drive. I'm taking the LA Chargers over the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a 5.5-point underdog. I absolutely love this matchup. I think
It's a good pick.
yeah, and I think them just losing to the Cowboys, like they're gonna have an extra pep in their step. I think they're gonna be ready to go and compete. All right, Ali, swinging for the fences here again. Taking Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals. What are you doing?
No, he's going to
he's
pick
taking
against
the
the
Dolphins.
Niners. He's going to pick against the Niners.
Oh,
Or
you
he's
should
gonna,
take the
or he's gonna
Dolphins.
pick, or he's gonna pick against the Browns and go with the Colts now.
We all think we know Ali. We don't know crap.
No,
favorite.
Anthony Richardson he's out for the season. I'm not picking the Colts. I was looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars at the New Orleans Saints. They're a 1.5-point underdog, which is really surprising. But you guys know me. I can't do that. 1.5 points is way too little. I'm going to go for, you said it, Drew, the Arizona Cardinals at Seattle.
Yeah. Josh Dobbs, man. Hey, I picked him up in my 2 quarterback fantasy, and he's getting me some points, man. Dude's kind of a beast. Ugly guy, but man, he's
Dude,
putting up some
stop
points.
coming at his alopecia. He's got no hair.
It's not his alopecia, man. It's his face.
Yeah, his face is just there. So
I actually just picked up Seattle's defense in 2 of my fantasy leagues this week. I hope I'm right and you're wrong.
all right, well, we'll get the image out there, see what the audience thinks. But Dunphy, man, thank you so much for joining. Excited to see you at the stadium. And yeah, man, good luck on all of your projects. Excited to see you more on the TV. Definitely tuning into Pulp Fiction. It's freaking hilarious. There was this clip that Freddie Mitchell went into the huddle and wasn't like T.O. complaining about catches, and Donovan just said it. You need to shut the F up and just play the game. Like, dude, there's so many golden nuggets of just like laugh out loud funny moments in there. Congrats on all your success. Hope to see you hitting it bigger, man. And thanks for winging it with us today. To everyone, this episode 64, and we will be back with you next week. Peace.
Go Birds.